Explosions have struck multiple cities across Iran, including the capital Tehran. Footage emerging from the city shows thick columns of smoke rising over the skyline. Reports are now coming in of additional blasts in Arab nations south of Iran, countries that host active American military installations. A live look at Abu Dhabi, where explosions have been reported, along with confirmed incidents in Bahrain and Qatar. Video footage from Bahrain appears to show a direct strike on a facility connected to the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet headquarters in the country. These strikes come roughly one day after the most recent round of indirect nuclear talks between Iran and the United States, negotiations that have now apparently collapsed entirely. American military sources indicate these operations are expected to continue for several days. Israel has echoed that assessment. Both President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu are now openly calling for regime change in Tehran. In a direct address to the Iranian people, President Trump stated, "The moment of your freedom is in your hands. Stay safe. Do not leave your homes. It is very dangerous outside. When we are finished, take care of your government. That will be your choice to make. This will likely be your only opportunity for generations." Iranian state media reported hours ago that Iran has already launched dozens of ballistic missiles toward Israel in response. Qatari officials confirmed that at least 2 Iranian missiles were intercepted over their territory, signaling that Iran is actively executing its retaliation strategy. Our correspondents are stationed across multiple locations to cover this rapidly developing story. We'll be speaking with Zach Cohen and Elena Treen shortly. But first, let's go to CNN's Jeremy Diamond, reporting live from Tel Aviv. Jeremy, have Iranian missiles been intercepted? What's the current situation on the ground? We can confirm that Iran has launched dozens of ballistic missiles targeting Israel. Air raid sirens have activated across the country, not just here in Tel Aviv, but in Jerusalem, northern Israel, and the south as well. Hundreds of thousands of Israelis have taken shelter in designated safe rooms and bomb shelters nationwide. As the ballistic missiles arrived, multiple interceptions appear to have taken place. At this point, we have no confirmed reports of missile impacts reaching their targets. All of this began at approximately 8:15 this morning local time, when Israelis were woken by sirens, not signaling an all clear, but alerting the population to a new and escalating emergency unfolding across the country. Israel had announced it was striking targets inside Iran. Within minutes, we learned this was not an Israeli operation alone. It was a joint strike carried out by both U.S. and Israeli military forces, hitting dozens of targets deep inside Iranian territory. We have been watching for weeks as the United States quietly but dramatically expanded its military footprint across this region. At the same time, a diplomatic track was running in parallel. But this morning, that diplomatic channel was abandoned entirely in favor of direct military action by the United States and Israel. President Trump has made clear that this goes beyond destroying Iran's ballistic missile program or its nuclear infrastructure. The stated goal now includes regime change. Prime Minister Netanyahu has made similar remarks. Israel is currently on its highest state of alert, with most of the population sheltering in place, waiting to see how this escalates, as Iranian missiles continue launching, targeting not only Israel, but multiple locations throughout the broader Middle East. President Trump is monitoring and directing operations from his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida. He has called on the Iranian people to rise up against their government, while also acknowledging the real risk this operation poses to American forces stationed throughout the region. He stated that every precaution is being taken to protect U.S. troops. Earlier today, the president addressed the nation and outlined the mission. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating the imminent threats posed by the Iranian regime, a vicious and dangerous group. Their threatening activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our overseas bases, and our allies around the world. For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted death to America and waged a relentless campaign of violence and murder, targeting our forces and innocent civilians across many nations. Reporting from Palm Beach, Florida, Elena Treen adds important context to how we arrived at this moment. The backdrop to all of this matters enormously. Just days ago, the president was still expressing hope that diplomacy could prevail. That was genuine. And yet, simultaneously, the Trump administration had been overseeing the largest military buildup in the region since the 2003 Iraq War, a contradiction that now makes complete sense in hindsight. What stood out in the president's address was the unmistakable language of regime change. When Trump said, "When we are finished, Take care of your government. This will likely be your only chance for generations. He came closer than any of his advisors have dared to, explicitly stating that toppling the Iranian government is part of the mission's objective. His inner circle has carefully avoided saying those words out loud. The president just said them. Also significant, 2 days ago, Trump's envoy Steve Witkoff and senior advisor Jared Kushner held talks with Iranian intermediaries in Geneva, Switzerland. Those negotiations clearly did not produce results the administration found acceptable, and that failure appears to have been the final trigger for launching this operation. There are now serious questions being raised by Americans across the political spectrum, and notably by members of Trump's own party, about what comes next. Many Republicans ran on a platform of ending foreign entanglements and avoiding prolonged military commitments abroad. A multi-day air campaign against Iran, with the stated goal of regime change and no clear plan for what follows, is precisely the kind of open-ended conflict they promised voters would never happen under this administration. Congressional voices are already speaking out this morning, and the pressure on the White House to articulate a clear endgame will only intensify as the operation continues. Trump was fully aware of the risks to American personnel in the region before authorizing the strikes. He addressed it directly in his video message, acknowledging that U.S. forces could face serious consequences as a result of this operation. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs had previously raised similar concerns through official channels, but for this president, that risk has not been a deterrent. His focus is on encouraging the Iranian people to seize this moment, reclaim their country, and dismantle the regime from within. There is currently no stated plan within the U.S. government for what happens if that actually occurs, or for what a post-regime Iran would look like. This operation is expected to span multiple days. Both Israeli and American forces are actively prepared for an extended engagement. What comes after, politically, diplomatically, and militarily, remains for now entirely unclear.